Hello and welcome to Model Kit Stuff, and in today's video we'll be taking a first impressions look at the Dora Wings 1/48 scale Percival Proctor Mark III in its civil guise. So this kit originally came out I think 2018 in a military version, and then they reissued it as this civil service version in 2019. I've never owned a Dora Wings kit before, so this is all new to me. The box, unfortunately, has got a little bit damaged in the post, but let's have a look at what we got on the box. So a really nice picture here of the aircraft in its hangar in this beautiful red, and I'm guessing that's silver. It's a bit dark in the picture to tell, but yeah, it's a really nice sort of period photograph. It tells you that it's 1/48 scale, and it gives you the kit number reference, which is DW, which I'm guessing is Dora Wings 48016. On the side of the box we get the same information as we get on the front. On here we get a profile view of the aircraft and some stats about the model. So 166 millimeters, wingspan 252 millimeters, 106 plastic parts, 19 photo etch parts, and you've got to get your own paint and glue. Then we have the book spine version on that side, and then here we have three other kits, and that would be their Facebook information, but the retailers put a sticker over it, and there is nothing on the back of the box. This box came to me not stuck down, so I don't know whether that is normal for Dora Wings. So let's open it up and see what's inside. Okay, so I'm not going to say that this box is full to the brim, because it certainly isn't. There's lots of wriggle room in there. Everything's in Ziploc bags. I'll take a look at that in a sec. And then we've got an instruction manual. So the box is stapled, and actually the bottom of the box is quite sturdy, but the card they've used for the lid, which is quite common, is very thin. And these days, with boxes being kits being put in the post to the end purchaser, I think model manufacturers need to start thinking about more sturdy boxes. Okay. So we have a nice glossy colour A3 size instruction manual that is not stapled. I can pull those out. And on the front cover we've got the artwork again, and then we've got that information that was on the box, number of parts and so on. Then we've got a very small amount of information about the aircraft, and then we have parts included. Says so, but there's actually more parts than that in the box. So it goes over onto the other page. So we've got sprue A, sprue B, and sprue F, which is the clear parts, the decal sheet, and then at the bottom we've got it says used symbols, the key of the symbols used. It'd be good if we could develop some international symbols that could be used on instructions across all model companies. Anyway, moving swiftly on with the actual model, we have another 3 sprues there, the photo etch, and masks. Okay, so sort of Edwardin approach, I guess. And then we've got the instructions. So we're still glossy, but we're not in colour by the time we've got inside. And assembly starts with the dashboard, which I think that's a decal behind etch. Looking at the symbols, right, there isn't a symbol for decals. It's 42. I reckon that is going to be, yeah, I think that's a decal, and then that's some photo etch. So it doesn't say Oh, that's not right. Okay. It doesn't say this, but I'm sort of working out that the numbers in the grey dot is photo etch, and the number that is a letter and a number is the plastic part. And I'm guessing that a number in a square box is the decal. So they've not put that in the key at the front, so you're sort of guessing a little bit. Anyway, so we're basically building up the cop. Well, no, we're not. That's really strange. We're building up the dashboard, then we're building up a little sub-assembly there, which looks like an interior cockpit part to me. Then we're building up 2 seats with seat belts on, and another. It's not telling you what colours to paint this as we work through it. Then we're doing the tail wheel and the rest of the landing gear. Then the tail plane. So we're doing the sub-assemblies. Then we've got the engine there, which has some photo etch parts, which is nice. It's got pipe work on there, cables in or something in etch. Page 2, page 3, page 4. That looks like the colours. We'll take that out for a minute. Yeah, so it's going through a process of sub-assembly first. Then we're building up the wings. The wings actually look like they've got a lot of parts in it. You've got 2 wing halves. The flaps are separate. So you've got separate light, several parts to make up that light, including what looks like a nice little lamp with bulb there. That's nice. Don't see that very often. It's usually that with a little lump in it and the cover. So I quite like that. Then we've got the cockpit canopy section, which by the looks of it is gull wing, is all built up, and then we've got an internal bulkhead there. Then we get to step 16 and we actually start putting things together on the floor pan there. So that's the bottom of the aircraft, the floor pan, the seats that we've made up. So there's 3 seats, 2 forward facing, 1 rear facing. Would they have had that in the civil service version? I'm not sure. Might need to do a bit of research around that. That almost looks like a gunner's position, doesn't it? Although probably not, because there's no place for a gun. I don't know. Don't know enough about it, really. Then we stick the fuselage halves on. They're a bit old school, as in you get one picture and everything comes together. There isn't a sequence to say you need to put that one in before you put that one in to avoid fit issues. You know, there's no sort of sequences. Shove all these together at this point. So they're a little bit old school, but it's clear enough what's going on there. Got some form of blanker plate for the wing root interior there. Don't know that the engine is going to be seen, so you might have to cut the access panel if you want to have it open. Yeah, or not bother building the engine if you're not. You might need to put the engine block in to mount the prop, of course. So then we've got the prop and the nose cone build up, more assembly. Then the cover underneath the engine, over the exhaust. Landing gear, pitot tube, I'm guessing. And that's it. So 21 steps, so not a very complex build. And then we've got page 7 is, it just says colour scheme. What's it say? From the Netherlands, June 1997. So you've got this lovely red, and I'm guessing that's aluminium, is it? So you've got decal placements, but it's actually not telling you what actual paint colour is. there's no reference to the paints at all. Then we've got another colour scheme. And is that aluminium? Is it silver? Is it grey? And what have we got? And then we've got an additional set here. So that's quite an interesting one with half red, half silver, aluminium, grey-ish, who knows. And then this one is, I'm guessing it's aluminium, bare metal, but so that's as in the displayed in the Royal Air Force Museum. Yeah, okay, brilliant. Which one? New Zealand and Plymouth Aero Club 1951 and Spain 1953. I can't ever remember buying a model kit that didn't give you a list of paints. There's nothing on the box and there's nothing in the instructions. How very strange. Okay, let's have a look at the plastic parts. Maybe there's something in the bags that I've not seen yet. But that's the instructions. So the plastic parts have all come in one single Ziploc bag. Clear parts are in a separate Ziploc bag. But yeah, everything's sort of piled together. So let's start with sprue A, and this is the first time I've looked at these. It's quite a dark swirl in the plastic there. So we've got pretty, very featureless actually. And this section here is totally smooth. If you can see, that's totally smooth. There's no panel lines or anything. I don't know whether that is correct, but I somehow doubt it. There's a little bit of texture on the tail there, and a little sort of hatch panel door underneath the tailplane there. There's some rivets here, and not much else. Then we've got 3 nose cones which all look pretty much the same, and yeah, there's no detail on there either. There's no interior detail either, but also there is no ejector pin marks. The plastic feels really quite hard. Not very greasy though, but yeah, quite hard. There is, you can just about see in the light, there's some rivet detail along the wing root there, and on this side there's a little square panel, but the rest of it has got nothing. So I don't know whether that is correct or not, but it feels pretty low on detail in fairness. Sprue B has the 2 wings on it, and they have a nice sort of ripple texture to them. That looks all right. There is a little bit of panel line and on it, not much, and a couple of foot placements there, and like a raised strip. A little bit of flash on there, but no sink. Yeah, flash in places. Again, I still think this feels a little light on detail. I can just about make out hinges on the edge of the flap edge there and there. So I don't know, but I would have expected rivet detail, unless it's just totally covered in canvas and there isn't any panel lines, and this is correct maybe, because they have put some panel lines in, so maybe this is correct and it's a material covering and therefore there isn't panel lines. Again, I don't know enough about the actual aircraft to be able to say, but other than a little bit of flash, there's no sink. They're doing really well with ejector pin marks. I mean, there's nothing even on the underside there. There's no ejector pin marks. So yeah, cleanup of these parts is going to be really easy. Okay, C. So we've got parts for the tail and the larger flaps there for the wings. Remember, these are two halves, so they go together. There is texture on them, ever so slightly, ripples on all of these, including these larger parts here. As you can see, there's a fair amount of flash in places, but it's mainly on the sprue rather than the parts. You can actually see the release agent on this. You can see swirls of something on there, unless it's in the plastic, but maybe. There's no location lugs or anything like that, so they've managed to remove the issue of sink. So actually it might be interesting to see how well these parts go together. I mean, I tend to cut location lugs off a lot of the time, so it's perhaps a good way of going. And again, no ejector pin marks, so your cleanup is really minimal. We've got some hinges there and a couple of panel lines, not much. And again, I'm assuming that is supposed to be the case. But yeah. Sprue D, we have the underside of the aircraft there, which has some panel detail on, and panel lines and some rivets. So that's good. I still think that feels a little basic, but I might be wrong. We've got the engine, which has some nice texture on it actually. That doesn't look too bad at all. We've got some quite fine, they're quite thin, these flaps here, and again they have a little bit of texture you can see in the light. And then the dashboard is just a blank plate, but we know that's a decal and a bit of photo etch. And then we've got the interior part here that the three seats go on, if you remember from the instructions. So there's a little bit of detail there, but not much. But I'm guessing it's a fairly basic aircraft anyway. Sprue E, lots of the smaller parts on there. We've got some repeat parts, so the tail wheel there, and we've got these sort of like bucket-like seats, which are quite nicely moulded actually. Again, there's no ejector pin marks in any of this, and there's no sink, and these parts seem to be very flash free. The tyres are two halves, the wheels are two halves, and they're not weighted. That looks like some form of couch seat. Don't remember seeing that in the instructions. And then we've got the wheel covers there, and they've got quite a bit of detail on, so maybe the detail level has been correct, and it is fairly featureless aircraft anyway. That's the cover that goes underneath the engine. We've got two propellers and connection points on the props. Those of you that have been following the channel for a little while now will know that that's one thing that really bugs me when they put them on. You can get around that, I know you can. When we've got exhaust manifolds there, outlets, control sticks, and those are these little, you can see there, those are the little wing lamps which have bulbs in, which were really nice. Yeah, it's basic, but it's basic done well. The cleanup is going to be minimal. There's a little bit of flash on the prop there, not much, but cleanup's going to be minimal. Filling, if this all fits well, then and you've not got much in the way of filling to do, it's actually going to be very nice, quick build, I would think. So F is the clear parts. And what we've got is we've got the side bits for the cockpits. These are the gull wings, and then they've got bits of fuselage in, which is really nice. It means it makes that easier to to fill joins without affecting the glazing, although the join line does get quite close to the glazing. And then we've got the lenses for the wing lights, and we've got some form of little light there, and the wing corner lights there, that's got a bit of flash on. And then we've got the front canopy there. The front canopy is very thick and subsequently very distorted. Yeah, it's quite a bit of distortion through that. These others are better and clearer. Yeah, I've seen better, but I have also seen worse. Okay, so next we have the photo etch, and the first thing that you notice is that this isn't brass or silver coloured. It's copper. Now that's really interesting. I don't remember seeing copper photo etch before. Now, one of the obvious things about the copper is this stuff that goes around the engine would probably have been copper pipe, in which case you don't have to paint it. You can stick it on and varnish it so it doesn't tarnish, and away you go. I think that's a really nice idea, actually. Yeah. So we've got the dashboard there. We know that these are parts for the engine, and that was a part to go in the cockpit. Most of these other parts are cockpit parts as well. And it is relief etched, so you've got some relief. It does mean you've still got to paint the dashboard, but yeah, when you get the decals behind that, should look all right. Let's just we'll have a look at the decals in a minute, but yeah, the dashboard with the decals behind it, a spot of clear in the lenses that look really good, and you've got the seat harnesses as well, which is nice. Yeah, it's quite a nice little bit of photo etch, that. Next we've got a set of masks, and I'm pleased to see that these are not just die cut masks, they're vinyl masks. They come up a lot better, vinyl masks, in my view. So finally we have the Decal Sheet. So these are made in the Ukraine by someone calling themselves Decograph. They feel actually really nice and thin, they don't feel very raised at all. Quite a bit of carrier film on some of them, but nothing unusual. These have got damaged in the box. Don't know if you can see, if I can get the light on them. Just there is a bit of a dent. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 decals that have potentially been damaged. They'd probably be okay once they're off the backing card and on the model. So we've got the dashboard there. We've got 1 or 2 small stencils. But in the main, we've got the major markings. I guess civil aircraft probably have less markings than military aircraft. But yeah, what we've got looks really not bad at all, to be honest. No misprinting or misalignment of printing or anything like that. So there we have it, the Dora Wings 1/48 scale Percival Proctor Mark III with civil markings. What is my first impression? Overall, the plastic parts are nicely done. They're nice and crisp, very minimal cleanup. Build, depending on quality of fit, should be fairly straightforward and not too complex. A nice little sort of couple of weekends project, probably. It remains to be seen whether there should be more detail on that fuselage, and the picture here sort of suggests that maybe there should be, so that might be something that the modeller wants to put on themselves, some panel lines, but needs a little bit of research to understand that, because you've not got that rib there and you've not got these panel lines on the actual kit parts. So that needs to be looked into a little bit. Otherwise, quite a nice little kit. It's got a little bit of etch there where you need it to add a little bit of detail to the cockpit. It's got quality masks. Decals look good enough. So given the cost of these kits, I think it's a nice little model. It's not quite to an Edwards standard. It lacks a bit of detail in some places. Highlights for me was the copper etch. I thought that was quite a nice touch. It'll be easy to bend, but also easy to damage. So we need to build this to understand it better, really. I did buy another Dora Wings kit at the same time, which is a 1/72 scale on a military aircraft, also a Percival aircraft. So might have a look at that soon and compare the two kits. But yeah, subject matter is lovely. I love a red aeroplane. I'm probably going to do it in red. Yeah, not too shabby, not the best kit in the world, certainly not the worst. Yeah, so I hope that that's useful if you might be interested in buying this kit or buying a Dora Wings kit even. So take care, everybody, and I hope to see you all soon.